dangerous doctrines from Stronghold Baptist Church, demonizing disabled children. Dangerous doctrines. I tuned into Stronghold Baptist Church, Pastor David Burson's sermon, and he was talking about demon possession. And some of the things that he said are clearly not true and sloppy. He's sloppy in his doctrine. And it's easy to disprove it with logic. Truth doesn't contradict itself. So basically, David Bursons said that people who foam at the mouth and it's like go nuts, they're demon possessed, period. Not in some cases. He didn't say in some cases, or it could be an indication of. That would be precise and accurate, as a Bible teacher should be careful in his doctrine. Where the logical extension of applying what he's teaching is the demonization of autistic children. Because by his definition, autistic children would be demon possessed. Because he says that people that foam at the mouth and lose control of themselves, they're demon possessed, period. He didn't say in some cases, if somebody's foaming at the mouth and losing control of themselves, in some cases, that could mean that they're being demon possessed. No, he goes, if somebody foams at the mouth, loses control of themselves, and screams and shouts, they're demon possessed. Which, if you apply that doctrine, it's not cutesy. If you apply that doctrine in the real world, that would mean that all these American parents with autistic children, if you accept David Burson's Strong Baptist Church preaching, he's saying that your child is demon possessed. Okay, literal demonization of autistic children. And this is personal in more ways than one, because I'm ASD1. I have autism, diagnosed with autism. And I've also been falsely accused of being demon possessed and an Nephilim and all kinds of stuff here on earth from haters. And it doesn't get to me, okay? Maybe when I was younger and like struggling more, the gaslighting could maybe I have stuff like this. But it's like at that time it's far gone where people can gaslight me into believing up to things about myself. Nice point. Here's another thing. I'm a Christian, which means I'm saved, and saved people cannot be demon possessed. But anyway, I just watched David Burson's sermon, and he's wrong. He's teaching heresy. And the application, if you apply what he's teaching in his sermon on YouTube, which YouTube watching his live right now, I'm going to play the video. What he says, if you apply that in the real world, he's saying that your autistic child is demon possessed. Because autistic children have meltdowns. That's common. Meaning children with autism will have meltdowns, which means what? They be super stressed, acting out, lose control of themselves. Foam at the mouth is commonly correlated with an autistic child's meltdown. Foaming at the mouth and engaging in self-harm behavior, like banging your head against the wall, for example. Or some autistic children, when they have a meltdown, bite themselves or scratch themselves or like pull their hair or something like this. So according to what he says, it's not I'm not stretching it, I'm not exaggerating, I'm not making him out of a molehill, I'm not making a strawman argument. I'm dealing with what he's actually saying and applying it to reality. So I'm being fair with what he's saying. And he says, if somebody's losing control of themselves, the temper, foaming at the mouth, they are demon possessed, period. And what I know about autism and autistic children, according to what he teaches, he's saying that they're demon possessed, which is similar to like the Nazis that put autistic people in camps because they're bad. And it's like it was just the Jews that went in the camps. They will be working to purge autistic people and other types of people too. So that's the point. Let's play his video. Let's play the video. And it's to the point now where, since I'm right on doctrine, I'm pure in doctrine, I know the truth. It's like I feel almost like a weight of responsibility sometimes, like for myself and others. I see somebody teaching something wrong, and it's almost like I cannot but to make a video and respond to it. It's like a lot of times if you see me make a video, you're not saved by saying this prayer. So it's because I saw a video show up on YouTube where somebody tells you to say a prayer for salvation. So Let's get into it. Put up the disclaimer here. Enable screen share. Yes. Also share system audio. Yes. Presentation. Here. So this is he's still live, but I've jumped back in the stream to where he was teaching this doctrinal error, and it's dangerous doctrine because this man, David Burst, Strong Baptist Church, what he's teaching, he's saying that your autistic child, if you're American pray autistic child, they're demon possessed. Why? Because autistic children typically, it's like statistics, okay, ranging from a lot to most, will have meltdowns, as they call temper tantrums, where they lose control of themselves. Check. Commonly, while that happens, they foam at the mouth, where it's like they get so stressed and worked up, they lose control themselves, scream ah, and foam at the mouth, literally, and engage in self-harm behavior. That's common with autistic children during meltdowns, banging the head against the wall. I don't have this. I'm autistic. I don't have this. When I was a child, I had some of these uh, behaviors. Like as an adult, of course, I can lose my temper, but it's not the same thing. Here's the point. So it says that if somebody is engaged in self-harm, foam at the mouth, lose control themselves, the demon possessed, which he just described autistic children having meltdowns. So if he's correct, that means that he's saying that autistic children are demon possessed. When in reality, it's a neurological condition where it's something with the brain. So this is something where a lot of people go wrong, and it's kind of like addressing it at large. There's a big problem with Christian ministries not being helpful to the body of Christ, where I've been filling the gap. For example, being a Christian that has overcome anxiety, cured myself of panic attacks. I've had extreme anxiety, social anxiety, and I can teach the body of Christ how to deal with anxiety. And that's part of why God can allow you to go through trials as a Christian, so that it can help you to edify the body of Christ. Where it could be God allows you to have allergies, for example. I actually believe I see like the hand of God there. My wife, we wonderful. We're almost on a monthly basis. I upload a little cutesy little lovey-dovey video, kind of celebrate all love it. She likes it, I like it. Hey, support. So we wonderful. My wife, we married, by the way. We're not boyfriend, girlfriend. We're married. We married like this. I take you. I promise to be your man for the rest of your life, to death to us part. And she goes the same like this when a video call. If you go doesn't count, you're crazy. Okay, you're wrong. So we're married, we're husband and wife. So anyway, support. Um, I believe you can get married over the phone, in the letter, uh, in the flesh too. Anyway, so I had allergies, severe allergies. I got saved more than 10 years ago. I'm 36 and I got saved when I was 20. I got allergies, serious allergies. One of many health problems I had. I've had mental, physical health problems. Mental health problems doesn't mean like hearing voices and going nuts and being paranoid, schizophrenic. I just like depression is a mental health problem. Severe anxiety, being plagued with like extreme anxiety, sleep problems. All these are things that are mental health problems, and I've overcome a lot of them thanks to God. Now, I got serious allergies. I still have allergies, but not as severe as they used to be. So it used to be I would have my allergies used to be a lot worse, and if I got exposed to allergies, I would have asthma attacks, which like it would get harder, hard to breathe, like, like really like extreme. Okay, it'd be like a crisis. It'd be a health crisis. It'd be incrementally get harder and harder to breathe. That's how I would respond to allergens before. I'm diagnosed with bronchitis, asthma, and I could stop using a vent line inhaler. I'm a success, meaning I got diagnosed with asthma bronchitis. I have serious allergies. I would get asthma attacks all the time. And now I've stopped collecting vent line inhaler. So it used to be I used a vent line inhaler. I still have the allergies, not as bad. I've improved them. How I used to respond to allergens is like perfume I'm allergic to. It'd be like somebody with perfume in there. I've got like have an asthma attack and real hard time breathing. So my airways would get like start constricted, be harder and harder to breathe. And that's what like an asthma attack. And I had a vent line inhaler. And I don't get those reactions anymore. Now the same exposure to an allergen somebody in the room smell perfume. It might make me start itching, red body, eyes, stuffed nose, and like possibly a little bit labor, but it's like a little bit like I feel a little bit winded possibly. But it's like I'm not having like full on asthma attacks anymore. And what is the story? Was this because I went to the hospital, big pharma key? I mean, big pharma dogs. Is that what caused the healing improvement? No. Being a Christian, praying to God, asking, seeking, knocking, and receiving. So here's another thing. As a Christian, don't want to have this baby thing. Was like a lot of Christians have this mentality where they go, they got a cold or a headache, or it's like they have the flu. They pray to God. Maybe they come down with cold sometimes. They sick and tired. Pray God, pray help my health also for this. I will be healthier. And they're just waiting for God to snap his fingers in heaven and make the health problem disappear. When in reality, how I've seen God operate in my experience is I'm praying for allergies. And God knows the reason he has these allergies is first of all because there's like attacks in this world system. People, I'm not talking videos that makes things different. But it's like despite being poisoned, possibly I wouldn't have the allergies if I wouldn't have been eating a high sugar diet like 90% of people do and being vitamin C deficient for many years. Even despite people poisoning me now, then like the persecution for talking has done to me, possibly I still wouldn't have gotten the allergies if I would not have been high sugar diet, if I would have been mega dose vitamin C. See, so basically, as Christians, they get sick because they have a compromised immune system because they're vitamin D and vitamin C deficient. And they pray to God, like, I'm tired of sick, being sick and tired. God, help me be healthy or something like this. And then they waited for God to snap the fingers. The reason they had this health problem is because they're vitamin D and vitamin C deficient and eating a high sugar diet and having all these toxic chemical cleaning exposures. The shampoo they use have all these toxic chemicals in it, inhaling the fumes, transdermal some of these things, eating a high sugar diet. They're vitamin deficient. So how God is more like to answer your prayer is to make you come across one of my videos or just find any video on my channel. So you find like an inroad, you found a channel where a Christian is teaching why people get sick at the rate they do and how to heal with God's health, fitness, wisdom. And you hear, oh, vitamin C, sugar. Yeah, Mike talks about you should decrease your sugar if you want to be healthier. I've been praying to God to be healthier. And you find a person that is teaching you if you want to be healthier, stronger, fitter, healthier, here's what you must do: less sugar, more vitamin C. Here's the protocol other supplements should take on top of vitamin C: vitamin D, a B complex, D3 with K2, okay, and other things. And if people get a report, they might notice, oh, I don't get sick. Do you know that the two people in my life, my mother and my wife, no, my mother and my sister, after they started taking my counsel, and I'm the same person who counsel on YouTube, they report they stop getting sick. They don't get sick anymore. Like they stop getting sick. My sister told after she started taking my coaching, was like vitamin C, mega dosing, this, that, other things I've been working on. She goes, I stopped getting sick. And it's happened a few times from all the years since she started becoming vitamin C mega doser. There's like, yeah, I came down with something. Then I reckoned, oh, yeah, I've been slacking off. I hadn't been taking vitamin C for a few days. And that's when she got sick. Okay. So, anyway, part of why you can go through things as a Christian is for the edification of the body of Christ. So, I had severe allergies and greatly improved them. And when I met my wife, who we weren't married at that point, we start talking and we get to a point where we decide to get married. She had serious allergies. And I told her, yeah, oh, okay, I can help with this. They can be improved. I know how to improve allergies. And basically, summarizing, because I'm a Christian, I have had allergies, pray to God, the Christian God, my God. And because of praying to God, God has blessed me with understanding on how to heal this health problem in the natural. I applied. So it's basically, she takes my advice and she says she got better and better until she's 90%. I think she's 90 or 99% cured. Okay. I had her as a guest on my podcast. And it's like I'm pressing her for more specific numbers. She said the truth. Mike is helping to heal, and it's like my elders are a lot better from listening to Mike take his advice. And I kind of press her for some more specifics, like how in points or percentages, like how much it proves. It's like 90, 99%. 99% better. So, there's Christians and leadership. You've been missing out. The body of Christ has been missing out, which is why I believe that God will deal harshly with Christian ministries that have been sold out to the deep state and are part of a program that's worked to sabotage me, target my real life, and everything else, because the body of Christ has been suffering. It's like there's nobody else has been doing the job. I've had panic attacks. There's Christians that suffer from health problems, and I know how to improve them, and I've been teaching it. Uh, a lot of people suffer from anxiety and stress. I've had severe anxiety and stress problems and improved them. I used to have agoraphobia where I couldn't be out in public. I had panic attacks and like social anxiety to the point. So anxiety is one of many battles I've had in my life and have really like overcome that problem. So it's like I used to have so much social anxiety I couldn't talk to people on the phone. Okay, I could talk to people on the phone. I couldn't do video calls without have like panic attack level anxiety. And now I can go live and do public speak in front of hundreds of people sometimes, and I'm not always like super stressed when I do it. So I've cured myself of panic attacks. That's high stress, and a lot of people err where it's like, oh, over spiritualizing. So if you're a Christian, it's spiritual. They over spiritualize things. See, so it's like, oh, it's like, oh, you have a headache. It's the spirit of oppression. You have to do deliverance, something like this. Or, well, you have anxiety. You need to think on the promises of God or something like this. Is it possible for a person to have anxiety because they're focusing on negative things and like worrying that it's like, is Russia gonna invade America? Is World War III coming? And they watch like CNN, MSNBC, Reuters, whatever news outlet that they're seeing about wars and conflicts, and these people are saying it's like trouble is coming, and it's like they focus on that, and they're worrying about if they're going to get laid off, and things like this. And it's like because they're acting like thinking certain things that they have anxiety. Yeah, that's possible, but a very real issue is anxiety is a physiological state, and a lot of people have vitamin deficiencies that lead to mental health problems. So let's look at David Berson's here, demonizing autistic children. Now, he doesn't mention autistic children, but if you apply the doctrine, uh, if you apply the doctrine, if you apply the doctrine, what he's saying applies to autistic children, and it means that he's saying that they're demon possessed.
Remember when David went to the king, all of these things that are happening here are the result of being possessed of a spirit, because it says he suddenly cries out, right? So just this pointless crying out, that means
Yeah, like autistic children having meltdowns and like ah, ah, ah. Okay, that's a common autistic meltdowns. Check, crying out. Okay.
like yelling, right? It's not weeping, it's just crying out, yelling. It teareth him that he foameth, so the foam would be like coming from his mouth.
Autistic meltdowns involving foaming at the mouth are intense, involuntary actions to extreme overload, distinct from tantrums. This behavior, so this is something that autistic children go through. Autistic meltdowns where the child gets overloaded because the autistic brain can't cope with the stressors of life, visual, auditory input, commotion, whatever the things are can be triggers. And autistic children commonly have this. It's like it's more common to have a child with autistic meltdowns in childhood than to not. To have a child with autism that doesn't have meltdowns. Okay, and commonly it's like the child gets overstimulated, overstressed, and the brain kind of malfunctions, and they lose control of themselves and rant and rave. It can be without words, just making noise like rah, 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 okay, yelling, foaming at the mouth, and self-harm, where either biting themselves or banging the head against the wall. And if you listen to what this guy say, but his teachings, they're demon possessed. All these children in America with autism that have these meltdowns, foaming at the mouth, self-harm behavior, head banging or biting themselves, screaming, yelling, losing control of themselves. He would say they're demon possessed, demonizing disabled autistic children, which really doesn't sit right with me. So this is personally in two ways for me. One, I have autism. Two, I've been accused of being demon possessed before. on YouTube by cyberstalkers. Mike demon possessed, okay, and all kinds of other stuff. So it's like 2 times personal for me. So let's go back.
Remember when David went to the king, to the Philistines, I believe, and I don't know why his name is escaping me right now, Agag or I don't know. He changed his mind on going to him, and then he started foaming at the mouth, pretending like he was crazy, right? Like we would call it mad or crazy.
Yeah,
And
and you can be mad and crazy about being demon possessed.
basically he was acting as if he was possessed of a devil. And this is
No, he was acting as if he's mad, like he's gone nuts, okay? And it's possible to be mad without being demon possessed. The Bible says, shoulder pressure make the wise man mad. And there's different like degrees of madness, where you can be mad without like acting out on it, but at like higher level, more severe like madness, it can. So there's different levels of madness. Okay, you can say like level 1, 2, 3, 4 divided.
it's what when someone's taken of a spirit, they cry out, they're foaming at the mouth, and it says, and bruise.
Or the screaming and foam at the mouth, he says that period, it means he's demon possessed, which means he's saying that autistic children are demon possessed. When the truth is they have a brain problem, neurology, and their brain is overloaded, overstimulated, and that can lead to all kinds of things. Similar to there's paranoid schizophrenics, and some of them might be demon possessed, some of them might be, okay. Some paranoid schizophrenics that hear voices and see things, they might be demon possessed. Maybe, okay. Now, the average person, you watch this video, me, if you get put like on Guantanamo Bay and kept from sleeping, they would sleep deprive you for 4 days or more, like 4+ days. Every person, not just people who are deemed possessed of paranoid schizophrenics, will start hallucinating. So that's one of the, and notice what's that? It's the brain chemistry being altered. Something affects your brain. And your brain chemistry can be altered by drinking alcohol, by sleep deprivation, by having a concussion, by being poisoned. There's all kind of things that can change your brain chemistry. Altered states, inducing altered states. So an average person with no history of like mental illness, if you take them and keep them from sleeping for 4 days, they're going to start hallucinating and seeing things and hearing things, and or without being demon possessed, without being paranoid schizophrenic. Now, paranoid schizophrenic, they go around, they wake up in the morning, they hear voices, see stuff, and that's the baseline consciousness. Okay, that's the difference.
Bruising him hardly departeth from him. So basically just being tormented too. And when Jesus rebukes the unclean spirit, it says in verse 42, and he was yet a coming, the devil threw him down and tear him. And in the other passages, it says that oftentimes he falls into the water and oftentimes into the fire. Like it's just this problem of the self-hurt to his body, the damage.
Yeah, so according to what he said, that would mean autistic child demon possessed according to him, and I don't agree with that. They have a brain problem, neurological issue.
Damage to his body and things just from
that can be helped with diet and nutrition, I believe. It's not a big pharma drugs, it's the only way to help children or adults with health problems. And that's the parent's responsibility.
being possessed of a devil. And I've preached on this not that long ago, but I'm bringing it up briefly now. People still get possessed with devils, okay? And the world's going to try to diagnose it as just something other than a spiritual problem.
And weird kooks at David Bursons will expose his lack of wisdom, discernment, understanding, and knowledge, and expose it as a weird kook that is like being sloppy in his doctrine, ends up. I can make a video that wouldn't be falsification slander. David Burson says that autistic children are demon possessed, and that title might looks intense of what you're saying, but it would be true. You look at this video. They said that means if somebody is screaming, shouting, foaming at the mouth, and harmless, they're demon possessed. Period. Not in some cases. He didn't say in some cases it could mean, or it could be an indication that possibly. No, period, they are.
But absolutely, these things exist. And when you start to see these types of symptoms in people, and they hurt themselves, and they're foaming, and they,
Self-harm. Autistic child self-harm. The dark side of severe autism. And here's a autistic girl, sweet girl, who's having a meltdown, engaging in self-harm behavior, sensory advised. And she's what? She's crying out, okay. She's crying out. And she's engaging in self-harm. Well, maybe not self-harm, but the filming a child is in a state that for some autistic children could lead to self-harm. Okay. Now this is a YouTube video. So it's like I'm not looking at some CCTV video or something. This is a YouTube video. So now this, I'm not saying this self-harm is video, but I search autistic child meltdown self-harm. And that's a video that showed up. So I'm not saying what we just looked at, self-harm. But you can see the child crying out, just making noises like, ah, and then have a lump here. And the mom has to stop her from banging her head into the countertop or something like this. What's self-harm? So the state that this child is makes them end up hurting themselves, foaming at the mouth. A lot of the children, autistic children, that are in this state, where in this kind of mode, they will be foaming at the mouth from being like this for a while, and it leads to increased salivation and foaming at the mouth. And some autistic children would have a meltdown, bang the head against the wall, and the parents have to get a helmet, like a boxer's helmet for them, because they have meltdown, foam at the mouth, yell, rant, and rave. But it doesn't even have to be like sentences. Just like, ah, and start banging the head against the wall. So the parents have to get like a helmet for them to protect them, because it's such a frequent thing. You go, oh, oftentimes, oh yeah, according to this freak pastor David Bursins, these children will be demon possessed. Okay. Whereas the truth is they have a brain issue. It's neurological. They have a brain issue. Their brain gets overloaded from the stress of this and that and the other thing, and they lose control of themselves. So notice how people that are not wise and don't have discernment and mental clarity, and they're not really spiritually okay, like David Burr says, they end up making idiot of themselves. See, and I can make videos exposing idiots like this, because look what I'm saying that autistic people are demon possessed. Autistic children are demon possessed, according to him, because autistic children get meltdowns, foam at the mouth, yell, cry out, and engage in self-harm. So he says that means if somebody's acting like this, demon possessed. He didn't say in some cases it means that they are. Because there you go, okay, well, he didn't say wholesale, any person. No, he said period.
Like they lose control and they kind of go crazy.
Yeah, lose control, like autistic children having meltdowns, losing control, and harming themselves. Meaning start biting themselves or banging their head against the wall, and they need to have a helmet. Foaming at the mouth and yelling, crying out. Ah, okay. So according to him, that means a demon possessed, and that's wrong. They have a brain problem. And this is a problem with contemporary Christianity now, where they over spiritualize things. Where it's like Christians out there suffer from anxiety, depression, and they need to watch my videos and learn how to lower cortisol with ashwagandha and vitamin C. People have stress, like Christians suffer from stress and anxiety. They could start watch my videos and learn effective, safe, and effective ways to deal with anxiety. Ashwagandha lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. Vitamin C, niacinamide, L-theanine, magnesium. There's a lot of supplements that if you take the right type and amount of supplement, it can make a big difference for a person who's having stress, anxiety.
It's because they're possessed with the devil. We see the symptoms here. We see.
Yeah, so according to him, these autistic children would be demon possessed. I'm not, you can't go, Mike, you just like reaching. No, I've listened to what he said. And if you got a fish brain and you like 4 seconds memory, I've listened to what he said. He says if somebody's foaming at the mouth, yelling, harming themselves, losing control, they are demon possessed. That's what it means. And we can go look here. Autistic children meltdowns. And they're foaming at the mouth, self-harm, commonly correlated with that. Foaming at the mouth is common that autistic children's parents reported when they have a meltdown, they lose control of themselves, they yell, scream, they're noisy, lose control of themselves, foam at the mouth. Okay. And according to this guy, they will be demon possessed. And that's not resting what he said. That's applying what he actually said.
What it means to be possessed, and these types of things do happen. And as I've said on Sunday, I even preach a sermon.
Ridiculous. So there's quite a lot of autistic children in America now, in Sweden, where I live. I have autism, ASD1, like level 1, okay. You could call it light or mild autism, but that's how I feel that way. But it's like contrasted to severe case of autism. So more severe case of autism, it will be people that, for example, they're nonverbal, okay. So a more intense, like grave, like intense, heavy autism. There's a lot of autistic people that are nonverbal, meaning they never talk. It's just they at most they might be like humming or like kind of like they're not making sentences. They're not communicating with their voice. They're not speaking to people. And according to these freaks, they'll be demon possessed. When in reality they have a brain problem. Neurology is a neurological condition, like people with ADHD. Maybe next you can say people with ADHD are demon possessed too. When in reality it's a neurological condition where there's something with the brain is different. Autistic meltdowns involving foaming at the mouth are intense, involuntary reactions to extreme overload, distinct from tantrums. This behavior may stem from excessive saliva production, difficulty swallowing, or high distress. Management focuses on ensuring safety, reducing sensory input, and ruling out underlying medical or dental issues. Key aspects of meltdowns with foaming. Physical response. Foaming at the mouth and vomiting can occur during an intense meltdown. And what is a meltdown for those who don't know the autism stuff? They're basically where an autistic person kind of loses it and acts out, okay? Which could be limited to like yelling, or it can be like thrashing around and throwing stuff around, or okay, but it's like basically losing it. Foaming at the mouth, or hold on. Foaming at the mouth can occur in a sense melted due to high physical distress or intense yelling, screaming. Causes saliva foaming. It may be linked to sensory issues, low muscle tone around the mouth, difficult with swallow, excessive flush of saliva. Not a tantrum. Unlike a tantrum, a meltdown is a total loss of control, not a purposeful behavior to get something. So that's something that autistic people suffer with, especially children. Meltdowns, where they have an autistic brain that gets overloaded from stressors and they involuntarily lose it, okay? And David Burst would say the demon possessed, literally demonizing the disabled, the most vulnerable autistic children. Dangerous doctrines. Dangerous doctrines. And like I said, this is personal in more ways than one, because I'm autistic and I've been accused of being demon possessed before. So it's like twice personal for me. So according to David Bursons, all these children in America that are autistic, that have meltdowns where they engage in self-harm, headbanging, or biting themselves, they lose control, they cry out, and they foam at the mouth. They're demon possessed. That's demon possession, okay? And I'm not resting it or making strong an argument. It's like you take what he said. It's like, oh, what he's saying is if somebody's act like this means they're demon possessed. I understand autism. So what he says applies to autistic children having meltdowns, which means he's saying they're demon possessed. If you apply it, if you take what he says and runs with it, you see a person act like this. Like if I would end up doing research on YouTube, look at these videos and go, oh, I remember I saw David Burson's video, past David Burson's. This is a demon possessed person. Hey, your child is demon possessed. In the comment section, maybe you need an exorcism. Do you understand how toxic and damaging this type of preaching can be? dangerous doctrines. Because if somebody watches this and they end up seeing one of these videos of an autistic child acting out, having a meltdown, they formulate the mild self-harming, they might leave a comment, this is a demon-possessed child, you need to take it to an exorcism for this. How do you think that will affect the parents of autistic people or the autistic children? Or kids in school, that if the kid goes to like some special class and be like, oh, you're demon-possessed. Like if this became like more people believe this weird stuff, they're like, oh, you're demon-possessed. It's like, oh, I'm in special class, I got autism. Yeah, no, you're just demon-possessed. Okay. You got a demon, you need to back some maybe other kids to bring a crucifix and try to exercise the demon of the autistic child that's in school or something like this. Do you understand? If you take this and run with it, if more people believe this, it wouldn't be good. So here's a autistic child. They're crying out, okay? Crying out, wow, yelling.
You gotta wait, Bill. Miss Jazz will take you outside in a minute, okay?
And there's been I haven't been showing any self-harm in this video. It's like what I've searched autistic children self-harm, and there's some videos that kind of related to the topic that show up. So this video doesn't show self-harm. So according to David Bursins, this is a demon-possessed child. That is really disgusting. That's not a demon-possessed child. That's a child with autism that's being overloaded and having meltdown. And if it gets worse and they stay like this, it might get to a point where they're foaming at the mouth. They scream more, yell more. It can get worse. So this might be like a light meltdown contrasted to some other meltdowns. Here's another child that has a helmet because when this autistic child melts down, they end up banging the head against the wall, head banging, which is not a common form of autistic meltdowns. Is when a child, autistic children or adults, okay, but it's more common with children. Autistic people have a meltdown, they lose control of themselves, yell, and can foam at the mouth, and sometimes engage in self-harm, meaning head banging or biting themselves or pulling their hair or something like this. Okay. And according to David Bursins, if somebody's act like that, that means they're demon possessed, period. And he's wrong on that. How I would teach it is, well, it could be an indication if somebody's act like that, they're possibly demon possessed. In some cases, somebody's act like that, it could be an indication that they might be demon possessed, something like this, because that's accurate and truthful. They don't end up teaching wrong, where there's some people that can act like that without. So notice how logic. Is it impossible for somebody to act like that? Is it possible for somebody to act like that and not be demon possessed? Yes.
Hit our head. Okay. Come sit down. Sit down.
Notice they're crying out and they're not speaking. They're kind of nonverbal at this moment. And just yelling out, crying out, like and like making noise. It can get worse and louder.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job.
Autistic 12-year-old hitting head. So here's another autistic 12-year-old. And notice how, according to David Bursins, this is a demon-possessed person, demonizing the most vulnerable children with autism. See? Dangerous doctrines taught from the pulpit. If somebody is self-hurting themselves, foaming at the mouth, yelling, losing control, they're demon-possessed. Not in some cases. No, if somebody's act like that, they are demon-possessed. Which you apply that to these autistic people, they be demon possessed according to him. So here's an autistic child that loses control of himself when he has meltdowns and ends up hitting himself in the head, which means their parents have got a helmet for him. So when he starts getting in this meltdown mode, they put a helmet on to protect his head from him hitting himself. And when I see this, I don't see a demon possessed person. I see a guy who's suffering from a young man who's a boy who's suffering from a brain problem. And there's things that I believe that if his parents would watch my videos, they could learn some things about how to help him, like reduce his suffering and cause him improvement. Yeah, so dangerous demons, demons of devils, dangerous doctrines. So yeah, autistic people are not demon possessed, and it's not that every person who acts out and loses their crap is demon possessed. Let's been a video. And like I said before, if you watch this on YouTube, subscribe to me on Rumble. If you want to see, I have videos on Apple already on Rumble exclusive that you want to watch Rumble. And if I make more videos teaching health, fitness, and whatever, it's like there's some videos that go to Rumble only because I don't like YouTube. It's kind of I have to hold back the teaching on YouTube. So subscribe to me on Rumble. And if you watch this, you're a parent of an autistic child, they're not demon possessed, and don't let somebody talk into that. Imagine if somebody was, it's like joins his church and be like, oh, my child's demon possessed. I watched a sermon. Can you do an exorcism? It's like that. It's like it's so much. So it's like if you apply this doctrine, there's so many ways it would lead to bad stuff. So that's the point. Now, just subscribe to my Rumble channel. Want to see future videos? You can learn all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of Christians out there that are suffering from mental, physical health problems. They could be improved if they just started watching my videos, taking my advice, seeking my counsel, and then acting on it. Let's get a bit on the video.